Hey guys, this is an absolute dream project that I'm getting to share with you today. I made my own Indiana Jones Temple of Doom mock. Now, to be clear, this is not a recreation of the canceled set from 2023. Rather, this is my own build that I made from the ground up. Now, as you guys know, if you've checked out my other mocks here on the channel, I like to do a particular challenge and style of mock building, and that is using limited pieces. So I don't just grab any piece out of my collection. I like to be limited because I really like forcing my hand at creativity. So for this challenge, I used only pieces from the Indiana Jones Temple of the Golden Idol from 2023 and the original Temple of Doom from 2009. So as to say, if the piece did not come in either one of those two sets, it could not be used for this challenge. Now, where I got the pieces from, I had an extra Temple of the Golden Idol that I had gotten last year, and I had gotten a bag full of pieces from the Temple of Doom. Although the set wasn't complete, most of the pieces were in there, so it was very fun to build this challenge out. Now, as far as the style goes, you'll notice that it's built on this black base plate. I wanted it to be in style with the Temple of the Golden Idol, as well as the Temple of the Holy Grail, which I also made a mock of last year. So, there are tons and tons of play features built into this. I can't wait to show you the entire thing. And I'm also going to be building the canceled Temple of Doom set in the future. Just waiting on some pieces to come in the mail and get that whole thing ironed out. So stay tuned for that. But in this video, let's take a look at my custom Temple of Doom. Now, of course, here on the channel, we talk about minifigs all the time. It's kind of my favorite thing when it comes to Lego. And I just used the minifigs from the official Temple of Doom. The only change out, of course, is Indiana Jones using the new head and hair combo with the hat, which looks really great. When I do the Temple of Doom mock, where I actually upgrade the 2023 canceled set, I will go ahead and make custom minifigs for that, but for this, I just wanted to use the official ones that came with the actual set, with the caveat of Dr. Jones himself. Now, as mentioned, the set has tons of play features, and the first one is this little lever that you can push up to make the minecart go along. It's not perfect, but it works a little something like this. So as you can see, the minecart, unfortunately, has never really made it the entire way down. In fact, it does kind of end right here. So in theory, you could end the track right there, but since the Temple of Doom came with enough track, I figured I'd kind of make it symmetrical and try to get it as far out on both sides as possible. The only downside to this, of course, is how much space it will take up on a shelf once it's actually displayed, but still, I do like the way it looks quite a bit. Now, right behind the minecart here, you can see we've got some spikes out of the ground where we've got a skeleton, and I really like the placement of the skeleton right out front because it does make it feel very eerie and Temple of Doom. You'll see I've got Indy's whip right here. We'll get to that in just a second. And I've also got a pickaxe with some rocks and some coal here, just like we see in the movie. Now, I'm very proud of all the play features in this set, but perhaps my favorite one is the conveyor belt. So as you can see, I used the basic stone design from the Temple of the Golden Idol set, the official set, but I took off all of the extra stuff and made it more like the grinder that we see in the movie. Now, there's a twist in the back, and when you twist this, you'll see that these studs are able to clip into the studs that you see on the conveyor belt here. So when you twist it, it's able to gain enough traction that it can move the Thuggy aside and keep moving along. And of course, on the other side, you'll see that there are two spots there with studs to kind of represent that he got flattened out and there's blood. Then you can use this little tab here to pull it back and start the play feature all over again. So one more time, you twist this tab, and it does a little something like that. Now, in order to accomplish this, you'll see that I made a running track here in a U shape so that when you reset the track, it stops. And there are some flat pieces here that the track runs along. And if you were to twist this the entire way out, there's a little arm sticking out here that goes against this stone, so you can't really lose it, and it can't completely go off the rails, literally, but it does sit in place. Then, of course, this 2x4 clicks in right there, and you're all ready to play and start over again from the start. So you'll see how these studs grip into these studs along this track, and it helps you move the entire thing along a little something like that. So here's how the minecart feature works. You'll see that you just push up this little tab here, and then this hits against the minecart, and gravity and inertia kind of does the rest. So that works great. And underneath it, you'll see that I built a base to hold up the actual track here, and I put some water coming out of this little spigot here because, of course, in the movie we have the big flood of the Temple of Doom, which I think works out great, and it's just a cool little Easter egg of events to come later in the movie. Now, throughout the base here, you'll see lots of rocks that are ready to be mined, just like we see in the movie, and I think that that works really well. The other thing is, because the track goes at an angle, we did have to put some flat pieces here to hold this up, so these beams aren't actually connected to anything, they just kind of rest in place, but it ends up being sturdy enough that it doesn't really matter in the end. Now, we'll get to Willie Scott dangling there in a minute, but I had to use all the flame pieces I could to make for the pit, the sacrifice pit, that is. And then, of course, I had to figure out a way to lower the cage down there. So, if we move all the way up to the top, you can see that we twist this, and it's able to pull Willie Scott's cage up a little, something like that. Now, you do have to kind of, like, move the cage a little bit. I'd need both hands. I'm holding the camera with one hand, but this entire cage does fit through there, so I'll show you that. Then, of course, you can go ahead and do it the opposite way to lower the cage down into the pit. Now, there is one piece in this entire set that I did have to supplement from my collection, and that is the long chain here. So you'll see we've got a short chain here and two short chains that connect to the cage, but there is one long chain, and I did have to pull that from my collection. So with the exception of that one piece, everything else came in the official sets I mentioned earlier. Okay, so as we twist these arms, you can see that the chain is winding up, and then you do kind of have to align it underneath, but you can get the entire cage to fit through this trapdoor, a little something like this, and then there you go. It's perfect and ready to go. Now that it's above ground, I can show you that I used these window pieces to build out the chain, or excuse me, the cage, and the chain sit in there so that it can go face down like that. Then, of course, there's just enough room to fit a minifig on the inside as Willie Scott is lowered into the sacrificial pit. Now, of course, the cage is not shown in every scene of the movie, so on the off chance that you don't want the cage to be in the main area here, I built it, and I'll show you how this feature works in a second, so that you can push the entire arms back and get rid of the cage so it's out of my sight, out of mind. So that works pretty well. Now, once everything's back in place, you could take the trapdoor and push it back up, and then push this tab in, and the trapdoor will be at level. Then, of course, you could move this tab and push the trapdoor down to start the sacrifice all over again. Now, of course, we've got the Mola Ram minifig here, as well as a Thuggy over here. We've got a little stand here with the flame, and I kept the entire middle section here exactly the same as in the original Temple of Doom set, with the Sankara stones there that can be pushed out from the back, so that's really cool. I did want to leave this the same as the official 2009 set, as a little homage to classic Indiana Jones. And then, of course, you'll remember that they have this wheel that is actually what they use to push the, cage down into the sacrificial pit. So I used this wheel from the Temple of the Golden Idol. It's not actually functional, but it is cool that the, play feature is there, so to speak, at least for the minifig scale. Now, on the middle floor, there's lots of creepy crawler spiders. We've got some tree trunks up and around. Lots of homages to the original Temple of Doom since we're using those pieces. And having all of this extra play area reminds me a lot of when Indy, Marion, and Short Round are crawling around in the caverns and the walls of the Temple of Doom. And of course, I added one more play feature to the back, so let's take a look at that. As we turn the set around to the back, you'll see that there's a little rock wall here just for some ambiance there. And then we keep turning, and when we get around back, you'll see lots of stuff like this red ruby here and this gold, because I love that all the old Indiana Jones sets would always come with like some hidden treasure, so you didn't just have to play out the movie. Now, one extra play feature is you'll see that this kind of has like a hook right here, and you can actually rest this right here on these panels that hang back, so that this isn't just like hanging freely in the back. You do have a place to store it right there, nice and comfortably. Alright guys, well let me know what you thought of this video. Like I said, this was an absolute dream project to make, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it, so let me know in the comments. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.